It was cool in a video game as an idea, but I don't know.
Mm.
Aramin being able to magically visit all of his memories is a little goofy.
It is
can do
quite-
that too. It's called I don't have Alzheimer's.
But it's cool in the book because he can access every. Like he opens like a literal door and he can
I guess that is
like,
cool.
recreate it perfectly.
You think there's how many awkward memories does he have to shuffle through to get to what he wants? Where it's like, all right, I need to find casting the rubric. That's Magnus in the shower casting the rubric.
Magnus is schlong by accident, caught in the side eye. I didn't. To be fair, he does have a habit of deleting memories when he doesn't like
this,
them.
this is a SpongeBob episode.
He does have a thing of.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Lorecrimes, the podcast with your three favorite fellas. I'm here too. As everyone every week so politely says something to the effect of "Love you guys for coming here." It always makes me feel warm inside.
Stream was late due to me gooning. So
as there's also that one, we can't forget that other classic banger. Today, we've got it's the month of October. And we've got, it's the spooky month, do the little Serpello dance, whatever that is. Please tell me I'm not the only one who knows what that is. I'm going to just look on it.
I don't know what
dancing?
that was.
All right.
That's what I'm thinking.
I did. Someone, I beg of you, someone in the chat right now needs to save me and tell me they know what I'm referencing, because if not, I'm going to look even like more of a loser. Anyways.
Maybe.
Spooky month. So, we've got... It's only fitting to do that, and I must apologize, Orc fans, but the entire month of October cannot be dedicated to greenskins.
Yeah, it doesn't sell.
Yeah.
Somebody's doing orcs. No one's fucking watching them. Well, before we get to that, can I also mention we had a man on the other day on the podcast. His name's Bricky or something. He was like, I promise you all, we're gonna get some merch made on orchidate.com. of the Lorecrimes fellas, and
I don't know how to be proud
lo
of
and
this.
behold, today, let me see if I can also show a picture. So, the picture itself is of us, including all of us here and Bricky, and it looks something like this. As you can see, lovely design, King of the Hill inspired by our resident artist, Chaotic. And you got the whole gang, you got Bricky, I don't know who this is, and now you can get this on a t-shirt for a very limited time via orchidate.com. Please check the link I've just put in the chat. I will try and get it.
There is something to notice here.
I didn't register when I first saw it that the drink said "come."
Yeah.
It does. Yeah, it does.
But, that's only just now clicking.
Yeah, we are selling a shirt with "come" on it. Oh God!
It would appear in this image Hal is the most fertile. He already has 2 children.
So many.
And keep in mind, you can do whatever you want with this shirt. You too can have "come" on it.
Come on the "come" shirt.
I don't know when you wear the shirt, but shout out Chaotic for the very nice art.
Very much Chaotic. But yeah, I thought I'd mention that.
Jizzapalooza.
Yeah. Hal loves it.
God.
I'll see if we can get some samples maybe for the gang so we can wear them on stream occasionally. But other than that, what are we talking about today, fellas?
Well, my stream just had a bit of a funny glitch. Ignore that. We're talking about some spooky stuff, aren't we, Hal?
Yeah, I've prepared something for all the enjoyers here today. The other guys have no idea what I'm talking about. Not a clue, but we're going to delve into some of the more interesting and kind of unsolved mysteries of, I guess, just Warhammer 40k and a bit of 30k. No Warhammer Fantasy, unfortunately. But I'm going to hopefully guide it through some... sorry, Colin, but we're going to go through quite deep on this, but I'm interested to hear what the guys' theories are and maybe if they have certain opinions. But we're going to start somewhere which maybe not everyone is familiar with this. This is the concept / the idea of Enuncia, which not many people make Warhammer videos necessarily about. I guess I'll ask the guys, do you have any we don't want to give like a basic rendition of what they think it is so far. I think Connor might be the worst to ask, no offense.
No, it's like some super language from ancient times that you can speak into reality. It's like the Thum.
It is basically the Thum.
Yeah, no, I know about Enuncia because there's barely anything to know about it.
You cannot shout "Oh, Daving," unfortunately, and then not decapitate or throw into the air the white run guard, which is very sad. But
there's no way to save him either. That's just he is destined to die.
I think someone did make a video. Like, you can try, but then he just like stands outside of Whiterun and is not working.
I think even then, like I think I saw someone push him into the middle of the chamber, and he still like flew in the air and died.
Yeah,
I think he's no saving him.
Destined to
absolutely boinged. Okay, Enuncia though. I'm not gonna lie. This is some cool shit. So, but I have to bring you guys back. I need to bring you back to 4000 BC. So in the Warhammer timeline, we first hear of it, quotes hear of Enuncia, with the Emperor, who had his name called Neoth, and this is concerning the events of the Tower of Babel. Colin, is it Babel or Babel?
I mean I don't think that one matters too much. Hey, if you say it wrong, that's just further proof to the myth that man climbed too high and couldn't speak the same tongue. So you know what? However you say it, it works. It's just proving it.
The Neoth, or Big N, if we call him.
I don't think we should call him that. I really don't think
I already know the comments are immediately on my case. But, goodness, Neoth. He came across Enuncia when at the Tower of Babel, which was built by the Cognitae, which is interesting. This is going to come up quite a lot in this episode, and some people might have more theories about the Cognitae as well. At his time, War Master, which was Alanius' person, he is obviously a very important character for later. They are both perpetuals, and they would discover at least some words of Enuncia written within this tower, which Alanius would speak and use to destroy the tower, because I believe it's when Neoth kind of first comes across the idea like chaos exists, and it's like two different paths stretch out from this point. We next see Enuncia during the Horus Heresy. Andy, I think you've read this book, which is Prospero Burns, where one of these space wolves uses it to specifically banish a Tzeentchian demon. So I should also state, Enuncia, when they speak it, it sounds almost unintelligible to like the human ear. Like no one could recreate /say what that person had said. And
it's the phenomena that boomers have whenever they listen to Gen Z. They're like, I have no idea what they're talking about. But that's universal.
That's just called aging, unfortunately. It comes for us all. I was with it once. Now what I thought was it is old, and everything is new and scary.
Shout out to my shout out to my
Mm-hmm.
knee that gave out, by the way, yesterday randomly at one point.
Dude, because I've been sleeping on an air mattress for 3 weeks. I bent down to pick up laundry the other day, and my back hurt.
Oh, we're so in. We're so in.
Punk City over here.
Yeah, again old.
All right, well, you're married, old man.
There was an event during the massacre at Calth where a word bearer would speak a word of Enuncia, and it enacted like corrupt machine code. Again, like smaller instances are not necessarily part of the big picture. There's a funny one, which is my favorite, which is where everyone's favorite character, Mr. John Grammaticus. He speaks of him and Alanius get teleported during the Siege of Terror. Like, it's at the end, basically. The Emperor has been fighting Horus. They teleport into the throne room in the Vengeful Spirit. They land in. They see the Emperor's like defeated and wounded on the floor. They turn around. Horus is right there. Yeah, not good. So John speaks a word of Enuncia and just beams Horus back a little bit. Doesn't kill him, but it just, buys some time. And again, even speaking Enuncia is like quite dangerous. It can kill people just even speaking it. And what I particularly have enjoyed as well through the Ravener books, the book opens up with the fact that Ravener is hunting Cognitae agents. So this is thousands and thousands of years in the future, and yet the Cognitae are still around somehow. or as Dan Abnett said, there might be things where different iterations of different groups like pick up the same idea, and they, like if someone, as people might know, Colin, how much did Mussolini basically try and rebrand it? It's Roman Empire, 2.0 or something.
Yeah, no, I swear it's the Roman Empire. Ignore the fact that it's shit.
Yeah, but so people can pick up ideas and
lose a war to Ethiopia. I must.
Inquisitor
Empire, pass to the pizza.
Inquisitor Gideon Ravener would fight against his throughout his series, it's the arch traitor / his nemesis Molotok or Moloch. It's very annoying to pronounce, and they Cognite at this point, or mostly through this character, are trying to build up a lexicon of enuncia. They search through ancient runes spread out across the entire galaxy, and Ravener's not necessarily sure what enuncia really is. Again, at this point, it's still kind of a mystery, despite I wonder if it's a mystery to the Emperor in some sense as well. And Ravener's rival, Moloch, I hate that word because it's spelt. So it's like the word Moloch, but it's not. And he would use it to try and elevate himself to godlike power, which Ravener was able to stop. And then my favorite part of this sort of, enuncia, missing piece mystery that kind of gets better, which is in 500 M40, Eisenhorn himself, who is ancient. All his friends are basically dead at this point. He has been fighting the Cognite. He gets captured by them, and he is subjected and trapped in this device. It's a really good book, which is in the book Magos. It's the fourth Eisenhorn book, and it's a subplot of the Cognite are using the device in their ways, create fake demons and what they call later we got grails or other things, or they make warp entities loyal to them using enuncia. And Eisenhorn, when he's placed in this device, as they keep putting people in this device because it ends up killing them. Not everyone is strong enough. The guy who's in the device is part of the Cognite, but he's so tired. He's this is killing me in some sense. And it, interesting enough, Eisenhorn's psychic abilities are massively elevated when he manages to survive the process. His eyes are permanently changed to a Cadian purple, which is interesting. So the warp reflects deep within him. My favorite part of the book is where the guy who was previously in the cage device, Eisenhorn has broken out and they're trying to escape, and him and the other guy just start yelling enuncia at each other, and it's like clashing the universe against each other, and it's breaking things. And the other characters can't understand what they're saying, but it's obviously quite incredible power. And in a way, you see through the Eisenhorn books, which he has this little famous demon host who he bound through different chaos rituals before, which is Trubael, if everyone has read that before. Trubael is a demon host who says to him at the end, "I'm afraid of you." So something about enuncia made a demon host loyal to him, and he doesn't resist him anymore. And I was wondering, where do you guys think enuncia comes from? If anyone had any theories or working ideas about it, or even necessarily what it can do?
Well, it came from the goddamn Tower of Babel, so Big E tripped over the language of God, and because he's himself, was no, I can do better.
I had a theory. Yeah. Oh, guys, are good.
Someone in chat says that it was the old ones. It was the old ones stuff.
It's not explicitly said, but I've heavily with the theory that this is how the old ones, basically, this was their god-altering powers in some sense. Either they created or they discovered a language which was able to affect the material verse and the warp, which is maybe how the webway was created, because there's some weird convoluted thing about Vashtor and other old one technology things. But the idea of it, I think enuncia can most likely be used to essentially almost do anything, but yet to enact enuncia or speak enuncia is incredible. It alters your very being, because it is that whole Lovecraftian concept of you understand the truth of the universe, and it's terrifying. And therefore, when people who understand the truth of the universe, they basically go mad or they end up dying because it's too much to handle. Unless your name is Eisenhorn, or particularly, which will come up later, possibly blanks can survive this. That is that's the first big mystery, but it's going to lead on to an even bigger one, which I need to talk about after this. But I wonder if you guys had any other particular thought, because it's going to come up again, I think, in some of the big plots in 40k happening at the moment. But it's an interesting concept because I think it's a Dan Abnett like thing, isn't it? But I do love this little mystery of what its truth is.
Is there a reason Big E didn't just like start spitting bars and enuncia at Horus? Like, did they ever? He knows it, surely. Like, is there a reason he didn't just start like screaming power word kill 500 times?
Well, that's the thing. Maybe the Emperor doesn't. The thing is, Alani is like, Grammaticus is able to. He knew a word before, I think. I'm trying to remember in the final Siege of Terror books, if he gleaned one from Alanius's mind, it might have been the same one that destroyed the tower. But like other characters, you kind of just like learning one word. Sometimes like John uses it and then he forgets it. He can only use it once. It's like a really weird. Again, it's kind of like it is like a one word, one time use of like Fus Rodar, but a lot stronger than a Fus Rodar. Although again, can corrupt things, can bind things, but it's not warp magic. You don't have to be
it's
a
like a Google Play card, only one use.
Right, Jeff Bezos basically he buys it.
I've never been a big fan of enuncia, but I don't know. I've never been able to like pin down why. Like I don't know.
You feel like cheating in some sense.
I don't even mind it cheating. Like I don't even care if it's cheating. It's just like it's there and then it isn't there, and it's what it just strikes me as a what was the point?
It's a silly thing that one author made and nobody else picked up.
Yeah, like it's and I don't like, and even then, like I don't mind it's a one author thing. I don't something about the concept of it existing. I like that it fleshes out the world a bit, and there's this big, powerful thing that's not chaos related, right? Good on you. You did good for that. I could use more. It wasn't, stuff where it wasn't chaos the whole time. Actually, we could use some more of that, but I don't know. Maybe just the way it is. It's this super cool language that kills everything, but you can't use it. It just kind of reads to me mostly as just kind of wasting space. Like they used it to, break up Big E and Alanius, whatever his name is now. And then after that, it shows up and it's like, hey, it's this thing.
It's too much of a plot device rather than an actual thing.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fair enough. I think it's interesting what I think they will be doing with it going forward, which I think, again, if everyone's ready, then I can go into my second, because I needed to state what Enuncia was to be able to go into the actual big mystery here, which is...
Before we do, should we do some donations quickly?
Yes. Go ahead.
So to start us off, Tybros, girth maxing at a wake. Wow. Cancel the vid. I already hired Detective Chip to solve these. Wow. Also, Colin is built like a me and is equally as terrifying as Matt.
Wow.
The really strong me, isn't he? He's the one you can't beat.
Oh, okay.
Colin, you're muted.
I don't have my Nintendo lore up to snuff, apparently.
I'll take. You know what? I'll take that. You compared me to the God Emperor of me kind Matt.
Thank you, Tabros.
Document USA stream late due to Hal gooning to the Halo World Championship 2025. Thanks, bro.
I actually saw some of the games in that because I was in the same vicinity as someone who cares about it.
Andy will wear a green hat in 9 weeks. I'm stupid. Just dunked my brush in my glass of wine. That is unfortunate, but that's
flavor enhancer.
That's still a much better outcome than what I first read, because I thought you said my bush.
Oh.
And I had many questions, none of them with happy answers.
Oh, thank you. Lilith's most scrumptious busboy. Thank you for the $2. Stream late dudes at Colin crying over Halo news. Colin, what is the Halo news?
There's rumors that the Halo Combat Evolved remake will be like 90% generative AI.
Yeah. Oh god.
Man, no way.
No way. Crush my balls with a rock, please.
Holy cow. That'll be Flop City.
Can they just make something different, dude? Make that fucking Mega Bloks Halo game. That would be fun. I'm down for Lego Halo.
I can't believe that they changed their name to Halo Studios to kind of erase the 343 Studios' bad reputation, only to their first step in a new direction make the worst possible move. It's impressive almost.
What if they were made out of poo-poo?
Oh, this guy's got a crazy name. Colin's husband oiled up and bouncing spooky style for $5.
Evil.
The biggest thanks for the gas picture as well, the old one. The biggest mystery are where my balls went and why CS Grotto was allowed to write books. Also, have you tried Halo Flashpoint? I might try it.
I have not.
The arcade game?
No, that's a tabletop game. It's a tabletop skirmish game. I have not tried it, not because I even think it's bad, because at least the models look pretty damn cool. My issue with that game is an inherent issue, where if I wanted to play like a 4v4 match of Halo, I would load up Halo.
Yeah.
It's not that I think it's inherently bad. It's just it's like I can just play Halo.
Tyberos, Girth maxing out awake again. Piccolo stomps Biggie. Does he?
Does he?
I've not watched any.
Yeah, that's Piccolo. Dude,
on.
hang on. Yeah, Piccolo's orange now. Stop.
Okay.
God.
Main event, Virgil, thank you for the 5. The biggest mystery in 40k is how GW has managed to F up Space Dwarves, RIP, and decided the world leaders are a complete army. We have like 5 models of FFS. Yeah,
I have them all.
That's tough, man.
Year of Chaos, baby. Unfortunately for you, Chaos is only for AOS.
Yo, is that my picture, bro?
Thank you, Andy. There you
go.
Thank you, Nomius.
Nomius Chomsky for €20. Thank you, by the way. Greetings, lad. Hopes you all are doing well. Currently celebrating my brother's ribbon cutting ceremony. Celebration before end of high school. I wish you all a great rest of the day. Hal, I hope you feel better. Thanks, bro.
I love that expression. It's just like that's the kind of photo that's usually got the police station lines behind. Yeah, the mugshot.
You ever see a picture and you realize you look like your dad? It's like, oh no, I'm old.
No, I look more like my aunt and my uncle.
What do you mean by this?
Not different aunt and uncle. No, it's
not
okay.
Together. That's hilarious. I realized the other day. I'll go ahead.
Go for it.
I realized the other day I might look like a 30-year-old man, and that's really scary because I still think you forget that you don't look your age. You know when like people start referring to you as like a gentleman, and you're like, oh no, I'm old. Like, go say hello to the gentleman. God.
I've looked the same for the last 10 years, so I assume I've looked 30 when I was in my 20s.
Yeah, I've looked like this since I was like 14, minus the beard.
And he sounded 35.
I've had twink death. I've changed.
Twink
gray hair's coming in. But thank you for the 5 gifted,
Thank you,
Zano.
Zano.
That's good. And last one here for now.
You're Joe with the tour. Thank you. You guys, have anyone read the new Eldar Corsair book? I've not yet. I don't know. I've not heard great things.
I've heard good things.
I've got to be honest.
I mean, I don't know.
It'll sit on my Audible list until it is either on the like reduced or if it's like on a 2-for-1 credit thing. Because I have no like compunction to listen to it just because I've done all my Eldar content. I'm like, don't pull me back in. I've done my time. Leave me be.
I think the issue with a lot of the Warhammer books now is that there can be a lot of good books, but we just need something to shake up the formula because there's been a lot of, you know what I mean? Like there's a lot of good books, but we need a new Infinite and the Divine. We need a new Eyes, and like there needs to be something that's different from the rest of them.
GW is hearing you loud and clear, Hal. We will be getting another Marnius Calgar minisuit.
Yeah, baby.
Damn, someone will be fighting in the background.
Yeah, my dog.
Gaming storyteller.
Oh yeah,
how much me and Hal look like.
Yeah, Dutch. We're the same person.
Dutch, send me a picture of your face, and I'll make a tribute.
It's this.
Send me your mug.
Bro, me and Dutch, me and Gaming Storyteller turning up to the Mr. Beast lookalike competition.
Wow.
And yes, fella in chat, Icky Merle, they should buff the Eldar. Not because they need it, the Eldar are quite good, but because I'm bad at playing the Eldar, so they should make every Eldar the same stat line as like a Terminator.
You don't need an Avatar of Kane in a 1K list, bro.
I know I don't, but I want him.
I think there's one more, Andy. Is there one more, Andy, before we...
Oh, yeah, one more.
I don't think there's one more,
from
Andy.
Lilith's most scrumptious busboy for $4.99. Gentlemen, I'm currently on my way to go elk hunting, and I've bought a 6,000 point army to play my cousin. Am I too far gone at this point?
Yes.
Are you doing the elk hunting first, or are you doing the gaming first? Because I feel like that would change the dynamic of the match.
No, yeah, you should definitely hunt the elk and then plop it down next to the table. So
As a table,
immediately win like the mind game victory.
Wow,
that sounds like a good weekend.
Or just put it in his bed,
Why
only the
not?
head.
Godfather style.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to jump in, guys, to the next one because I thoroughly enjoy this one. I don't know everyone here is a Horus Heresy enjoyer, but this is one which is for all that. Shout out to all my Imperium boys because we're going to enjoy this one. Have you guys heard of the King in Yellow?
Oh yeah. There's this guy called Hal. I know he always goes on about the King in Yellow. It's really annoying.
Well, I'm not talking about necessarily the King in Yellow, but I'd like to talk about something which is once again Warhammer strikes and grabs something from something else, and we are going to be talking about something called the City of Dust. This is, I guess, it's been out for a while, but it's like the on the edge lore, and it's the kind of a big narrative is forming around it. So we take ourselves back to the Horus Heresy. This is set during the Siege of Terror. I know Colin and Eli's favorite like sub-series of the entire setting. They don't shut up about it.
I love Glup Shitto so much. You don't have any idea.
I genuinely don't think Colin and Eli will read The End and the Death, because even I, who is an absolute, I'll put the whole hog of heresy down my neck, but that was a lot of like lore. That was quite a lot. And you know what? Honestly, I didn't like his parts, but he wasn't as bad as people had described it. So yeah, back to the actual lore parts. Again, apologies if some things are not 100% because I'm going this off of like what I remember from headcanon. But this is set during the Siege of Terror. It's at the final stages where Malkador, the hero now, he ascends the Golden Throne. Poor Emperor cries about it. And the Emperor is launching his attack against Horus, who has let down the shields of the Vengeful Spirit. But at this point now, which is the kind of newer lore from the Siege of Terror books, the warp is so rampant, like spreading over the entirety of Terra itself, that the topography and like the Imperial Palace, like space, the Vengeful Spirit, they start melding into one like clusterfuck of a realm. And the Emperor and Horus, they are both gathering warp energy. And it's said throughout this book that the Emperor's kind of the reason he became more powerful than any other of the Perpetuals or Psychers before him was that he was able to, which is, they describe him like Prometheus. This is like a side bit, which I find interesting. They describe him like Prometheus, where he didn't make a deal with chaos. He went into the realm of chaos and stole the fire. And the secret was that he could take warp energy and essentially purify it and make it into his own power. And both Horus and the Chaos Gods are doing the sort of vice versa, as they're just pumping energy into Horus. Both of them are ascending into what will become the fifth Chaos God, called the Dark King. The Dark King is a Chaos God of humanity. So I don't know, like Eli, Colin, what do you think is like? So obviously Slanesh is the god of the Eldar in some sense, isn't she? She's considered like even in fantasy, Colin, right? Isn't Slanesh?
No, Slanesh likes elf souls in fantasy, but like she wasn't born of like the elves doing anything particular. It's just like the favorite snack.
In The End and the Death, Eldrad, I think when they have the meeting of all the ruling Eldar and the ones from like Comorar, they mention how the Dark King is essentially their version, humanity's version of Slanesh, and it will be essentially a god of destruct. Like humanity itself is, the whole big theme is like the Eldar are slave to their whims. They, pleasure, pain, all that kind of stuff. Humanity's is destruction and death, basically. There'll be a new fifth chaos god of just annihilation. And we kind of
cinema, it's him.
Yeah.
It's him.
Yeah. This melding of real space, the warp, Imperial Palace, the Vengeful Spirit creates something they call the inevitable city. And time itself is broken. Clocks stop working, which is really like everyone starts to notice why the clock's not ticking. And even Alanius, he makes an observation. He says, "I recognize that building. That's from Prague, like back in the day. Like different parts of history are like melding into one thing."
Bruh, that's from my gap year. I was in Prague. It was awesome.
Prague is a beautiful city.
It is very nice, and I went there for Christmas once. Lovely. And the Emperor is on his way to kill Horus. Well, he's marching his way there. The Word Bearers and Chaos Cultists are running away from him, screaming, terrified, because they can only see the Dark King. And the Dark King is being brutalized by the Emperor and his psychic might. The city starts to, in specific wording, turns into a city of dust. And then obviously the heresy will end. That's enough Horus heresy. Colin and Eli can breathe easy.
I'm free. I'm free.
We're not done.
It's confirmed that the Emperor is not the Dark King, and he never will be.
No, because what is the inevitable city? Horus even calls it is the realm of the Dark King. It is like a Slanesh thing where the Dark King will exist at some point, and so like Slanesh, it has therefore always existed. And which I think is quite interesting.
I like
that. I don't hate that. But we then switch to the 40th millennium, and then we join up with the Eisenhorn / Beta Bequin series. Beta Bequin, who, again, a very brief summary, Beta Bequin is the kind of semi-quasi clone of Bequin from the Eisenhorn novels. She is raised by the Cognitae in a place called the Maison Dieu, which is a sort of academy or like Cognitae training place. Yeah, thing is, in here they think they're Inquisition, which is interesting enough, but they're actually working for the Cognitae. And this is attached to the hive city called Queen Mab on a planet called Sancor. And it's very important that we remember those particular points in it. Like Queen Mab and Sancor are really weird. It's like they're like roaming, like men lost to madness, and they wear like armored like face helms in like deserts, and it's like a really bizarre place. And it's like, again, I really cannot get across how weird it is. And through the events of the series, eventually like many different things happen, but eventually Bequin opens a random door. And I should say here, Bequin is a blank, just like Bequin in the previous Eisenhorn series. So Beta Bequin is a blank. She's able to speak a word of Enuncia and not take any damage, not to have anything wrong with her, and then word bearers try and like kidnap her. It gets weird. Bequin opens a random door when she's trying to run away from this Emperor's Children space marine called Teke, who is considered, he's like this beautiful oiled up like guy, and he's called,
his name sounds like a skinks.
He kind of, but he's like this perfect like being one. He's called like the smiling one because he's got like creepy eyes. He's always smiling, and he's been like hunting them, and people have been like Bequin's like human group have been like trying desperately to run away from him. Again, if people read the Eisenhorn series, they know that they're with a character who's a part of House Glor, who's from the original Eisenhorn series. So it's quite interesting, like nice link there. Bequin opens this door, and then she realizes she's not on the planet they were originally on. It was like a swampy area. She finds herself in a pocket dimension, which she sees in front of her a city of dust. And immediately to her eyes, she notices this is like a weird mirror to the structures on Queen Mab on Sancor. And then later throughout the book, Bequin will team up with characters like Eisenhorn and Ravener, who show up in this series. And by the end of the second book, she's able to enter the city again because they're trying to find the secret of Eisenhorn's nemesis, which is the King in Yellow, which is the name he's managed to glean from his previous interactions with the Cognite, which the King in Yellow, as for the series, is not part of the Cognite, but has used them / works with them, and the Cognite think he's basically used them. When Beckwin is captured by guards at this area, she finds weird, like, Space Marine angels with wings. She's escorted by custodians through this city of dust, and she'll eventually be taken to the King in Yellow. And she's eventually able to use Annuncia to help herself escape. Really, that damn third book. But it's quite interesting how what was the inevitable city, this is the theory crafting of it. It might have been the inevitable city, which is a quote unquote creation of the Dark King, or whatever will be the Dark King / the Emperor and Horus's weird mix of, like, it's a mirror of the Imperial Palace, the Vengeful Spirit, other parts of Terra, and then other parts of human history. And it's like a broken version of that. And the King in Yellow supposedly exists in this pocket realm. And man, that's a very cool. I'm not gonna lie, I do find this part of the lore very interesting. If anyone wants like some background stuff, King in Yellow, obviously being from H.P. Lovecraft's work, is links to what is called Los Carcosa, the city of Los Carcosa. And there's a thing about if you see the yellow sign, like little symbol, you basically are driven mad. Or if you read from the original Ambrose story, where you read the book, and if you read further enough into the book or the poem, I think you eventually start to go mad. There's a funny part where one of the characters, like, he thinks he's dressed as like a royal king or something like that, and he then doesn't realize he's like got like tin foil and like crappy things wrapped around his head, but he sees a crown and majestic things. He thinks he wants to be like an emperor of America. It's really bizarre. But again, yeah, boys, I need to know how you think they're gonna. I don't know if you necessarily everyone has read these parts of 40k lore. Again, sorry if I butchered some details on it, but I do find the City of Dust part very interesting. And then I guess, see, I have the idea. I don't know if you guys will agree with this. Do you think Constantine Valdor being the King in Yellow is like a red herring? Like, it's not real?
I mean, if it is, it's probably just going to be a disappointing one. Like, if they go, it wasn't him, then it's like, what? Then what was the point of all this buildup?
Maybe. I would hate it if they pulled out it's actually Dawn, but I don't think they will.
Or it's going to be, it's actually this character you've never met before, and we've created bespoke for this particular instance. Like, that would suck. Like, just make it Valdor. That's fine. I'm happy.
I think it might be, because during the Siege of Terra, Valdor does fight Abaddon, and with his Apollonian spear, he's able to perceive like the life and the memories of all those he stabs with it. And when Abaddon basically gets a zhuzh, as they say, from Chaos, when he stabs Abaddon, he foresees despoiler, literally a future of madness, unending war and death, and it drives Valdor like kind of a bit insane.
He goes bad touch, on and on and on.
I am curious about more specifics if they ever reveal for the Inevitable City, because this is the second Inevitable City in Warhammer. There's a one in the Chaos Wastes and Fantasy that's like a hub of, chaos, and I think it is actually in the old fantasy MMO of all things. It's like the Chaos hub area, so I'm curious what they'll do with that, especially because, Valdor's not quite chaos, even as king guy.
I do. Oh yeah, sorry. Dutch is saying about any Drongommaticus. I do think. I hope it's Constantine though, because that'll be good. But again, I love the mystery part of his where are these custodians coming from? Yeah. Why are there sanguineous why they're blood angels? There's a weird part where like Beckwin finds a crucified bones of a space marine which had angel wings. So Dan Abnett, he does make some crazy shit, and there's parts where again it's obviously the Cognite are not in this City of Dust, but what force is laying within this City of Dust, and what is their purpose? What are they? They're obviously clearly not crazy. This is like 500 M40. This is 500 years before any 13th Black Crusade,
Yeah.
and they've not shown up. So, and obviously the theory is like they need the King in Yellow is trying to find the true name of the Emperor. So, and do you want to explain what true names are? Maybe like that'll be a.
I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, you know, it's a common thing, and I mean, a lot of media. Like, if you know a demon's or something's true name, you can bind it. You've got power over it. You can make, you know, pacts with it much more safely.
I think then, which may be that King in Yellow, Constantine Valdor, may wish to either kill the Emperor or seek to control the Emperor in some way, and then, or bring him off the throne, or maybe kill him entirely, who knows. And then obviously, if Constantine Valdor wants to bring him off the throne, who has to put him back on the throne, which is the Grey Knights, which is probably why the Terminus Decree thing was like, and only it, like, I'm seeing the vision. I do think it's slightly stupid, obviously, the Terminus Decree stuff, slightly, but I see the vision, which would be interesting, because I think Dan Abnett had at one point said he would love to write Custodians versus Grey Knights. So,
wow. Okay.
okay, I'm not gonna like grim, but not bad.
I mean, it's we've played Dawn of War. The whole plot of that game is everyone is beating the snot out of everyone else, including the Sisters Guard and Space Marines, all going, put them up.
But it's that thing of, I understand, like with mysteries, it's almost better talking about the mystery than it is unveiling it.
Yeah,
so I wish there's. So I hope once they do it, there's more to it as well after.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's obvious statement is obvious, but once you explain the mystery, there's no more mystery.
It is very, again, it's hard to do the description of these places justice, but this one I think is particularly. I do enjoy this one. Obviously, being someone who's a Lovecraft fan, that would, well, not necessarily him, but as in the concept of the worlds, very much. You know, shout out to his cat, but you know, that has interesting concepts, and I do like the fact of it's being used in like an interesting way in 40k. I don't know if anyone had any. Do you think it's, because again, like I don't know if it's not Xenos, you guys, I don't know if you want to cook with it, but Andy maybe might enjoy it.
Eli, what's up?
All this Emperor and Imperial lore is too much for my chud Xenos brain.
I will say I do. Two things about the Dark King I kind of like is that, one, it's an older lore retcon in some ways I'm quite okay with, because, you know, go back far enough and it's like the, you know, Nurgle, Tzeentch, and Khorne all had like creation dates corresponding with like humanity's Middle Ages, which I'm not a fan of that, because then you look, it's one planet of people made 3 chaos gods, and then it's like, hey, Eldar Empire, you made 1. That's kind of whack.
Shout out to the guy who said it's actually the cat of his father. Thank you, brother.
But isn't there a thing in like I've been getting through the Uftak books, the Orc, and it's all about the Drukhari saying about how humanity are kind of weird because they burn way brighter than any other race, but they also burn out quicker, where it's like they're massive game changers. That's why they have such a volatile relationship with the warp. That's why they have more chaos gods. That's why they spread like rats. They're just able to cause way more mayhem than any other species, because there's just something about them that's like a catalyst, but also that basically damns them to never be able to be a stable rulership, because it's like, you guys are always breaking shit. I don't know. You guys are silly billies. Stop that.
I don't.
This all sounds like it'll be leading up to absolute malice sweep. I'm expecting a malice sweep soon.
I don't know. I don't know. I also, the Dark King, I like him in concept, like the humanity chaos god. I think 9 years was a little bit too quick for him to be cooking and almost born.
I think, well, look, there was 2 possibilities, which was that during the Siege of Terror, the Chaos Gods were going to incidentally create one and basically create another Eye of Terror where Terror was. So this was going to be through the Chaos Gods, because initially everyone thought that Horus would be the Dark King, but because the Emperor starts to take on board so much warp energy, more than Horus, to beat him, the fact time stopped. As like Ahriman's like weirdly in the Siege of Terror books at the end, he even says like prophecy doesn't work anymore. Eldrad and the other Farseers, all the other leaders of different craft worlds, and the nobles who are still alive at this point from Comorra, they can't perceive a future. The future is not either. They said either something's interrupting it, or it's not there anymore. Like everyone's going to die. So I like that again. Like they really raised the stakes on that point. But the kind of big mystery that I guess is the true unsolved thing is there will be a Dark King. So who is the Dark King? Who will become, the one that basically kills humanity? Or at some point, in the far future, it was spared from the 30th millennium, but at what point will, essentially there be another birth of a chaos god, or in some way a smaller version of a Slanesh sort of thing? How big will humanity be? Which again, I find that very, very interesting, and I wish to see where they go with that. Whereas Pepe, Colin is not the Dark King. He has dark hair, but he is in fact not he's not the Dark King. Do you want to do some donations there, Andy? That's actually, you're on mute, Andy. And Andy.
Yeah.
Andy!
I'm here. I've been muting out my coughing because I'm a bit poorly. I'll say this one though. Donkey Man USA, new Halo reveal, profoundly mid. Yeah.
Unsurprising.
Yeah. Of course it is.
Such is the state of affairs of Halo.
Vandals are in charge of my beloved. Who wants this one?
Scary Raptor 51. Thank you for the $4.99. Hal, I too am turning 30 next month. In fact, here's the secret: if you never look in the mirror, the wrinkles don't exist. Hive mind consume all. Thank you very much.
I appreciate that, brother. I
Happy
appreciate
birthday
that.
Yeah.
in 1 month.
Mm-hmm.
God damn.
The last one for now. Who wants this one?
I think Colin is asking.
Angry Homunculus with the €5, pounds, pardon me. Thank you very much. Speaking of skinks, Colin, did you know that the Seraphon / Lizardmen are getting a book by the dude who did Day of Ascension? Killmain Burm Kilma. I did not know that, no.
I saw that picture today, actually, and there's a model that comes with it as well. It's a skink, isn't it?
Nice.
That does look pretty cool.
By the way, I'm going to make myself some Lemsip for my sore throat, so I will return the game visuals, but I will just be 2 minutes because I'm a poorly boy. Sorry, boys.
Poorly Andy. Well, to be fair, for the rest of the guys here, I do have another offering, which is a bit of a short one, but I quite like this one because it's a bit weird. This is probably some people may have heard this one before. I don't know if you guys have, but it's Artifact 9 Kappa MU. I don't know if you have.
I'm not sure.
I bless you.
Well, essentially, there we go to the Sol system, and I mean literally like Terra, Mars, Venus. Basically our home system. This is set during the Horus Heresy, but all the way up to the 41st millennium. There is a 30-kilometer planetoid that is set. I think it's
is this in the Call and Fabius book? Is this in Gene Father? I think they go here in Gene Father.
Possibly.
Unless I'm thinking of something else.
It might be something different from
Is it
that.
the artificial planet?
I'll read a bit more and we'll see.
Sorry.
This is a planetoid, which is 30 kilometers across. It is described as a I can't even say this word, bro. Geocetic sphere of black metal. Its design is like honeycomb, like passages. It has like catacombs. No one knows where this thing comes from. You cannot detect it by any like normal means. So it would be like Auspex or long range scanners, anything. It is completely undetectable unless through the naked eye or you can touch it. It is, again, made of like a not oily black stone in any other concept like Blackstone, but is a black metal. Nobody knows where this thing comes from. It was discovered shortly by the Mechanicum, kind of around, I guess, the 30th millennium, like Great Crusade era. It's been known for quite a while. The Mechanicum / Mechanicus, they research it. They know nothing about it. They cannot discern anything. They have tried to shoot it. They have tried to launch nukes, other things at it. it is apparently completely indestructible. This is like near Jupiter or something. Like there's just this thing floating in its own orbit, and nobody knows what it is for. People think it's possibly from the dark age of technology, which, for reference, is like when the golden age of mankind's technological height was. And it appears, if everyone looks at the Siege of Terror like maps they made for the Siege of Terror books, on the Solar War map, you can see that it is marked out. And previously, it's been used. Eli hates this book. If you remember, Eli, it's in Praetorian of Dawn. You might hate. Eli hates this book because Alpha Legion reacting stupid in this one. The Alpha Legion used this as a sort of way station / secret base during what would be the prelude to the Siege of Terror, when the Alpha Legion agents are essentially stealing the plans for the Sol System / Dawn's built defenses. And they have like different agents. Another one, they have like a meeting place on this weird like planetoid. And the Imperial Fist, which is Arcamus, who's one of the first ever Imperial Fists, he actually leads like a kill team to go capture / eliminate or find the Alpha Legion here. And it's kind of, again, like even since the Siege of Terror, it's been seen as a thing where basically there's only two, like no one knows what to do with this thing. What it is for is unkillable. It just floats around in the Sol System. It could be made by Necrons or Old Ones even, or again, humanity's golden age. But there's only two things they've done with it so far, which is either, again, Horus Heresy secret base, and the Mechanicus, Adeptus Mechanicus, have devices set around it that just scream a signal, do not come near, go away. That's all they can do with this weird thing. And they basically gave it the designation 9 Kappa MU. Oh, I've got fireworks outside. How lovely. Sorry, guys, for that. But it is a really weird thing. It's just randomly in the Sol System, which I do like. Like it's a sort of weird, sort of unsolved little mystery. Again, like that's a little small offering, but I have another one as well, which is I have to lean on to the Eisenhorn stories. How many here have read Eisenhorn?
I read two. I read two of them, and it was so long ago.
I have not read them.
Well,
I have, however,
I have not read them either.
I have been given a blessing by Dutch that I will share with the class.
Please do. Oh no, is this the? Well, do you want to describe it for the audio listeners, Colin?
Sure. It's what appears to be an imperial map of the Sol System, where our good friend Dutch has very kindly added a picture of Hal mid-sentence labeled Artifact 9 Kappa Mu.
Let me have a look. Hold on. If I do this for a second, I can put it on screen.
Well, thank you, King. Appreciate that.
No worries.
It's definitely not the place I go to in the call books. I would highly doubt it. Because Fabi's file also shows up.
So you got Hal, Artifact 9 Kappa.
Yeah, which is weird to make it into the Siege of Terror stuff / Sol System ones, but understandable in some sense, I guess. Again, no, I don't know if anyone here has probably a theory. Maybe is it Old Ones? Maybe
it's the Equans. It's the Equans.
Possibly.
Always the Equans.
But I don't think Terra has a tomb world underneath it. So.
I think it'd be funnier if it was just there. It's just hanging out.
Yep.
It is just there. But this next one, which I quite like this one. This is set in the beautiful year, I think, of 2004, this book. I can't remember what happened then. I don't think Eli was even born.
What? 2004?
You're basically... Bro was still a sperm.
Bruh. I was in Canada by 2004.
A little more than a gleam in his father's eye.
Unbelievable.
Bruh. Well, this is set during the finale of the Eisenhorn trilogy, which is the third book, which is Hereticus. And as I love this book, I want to say this sentence here. If anyone knows their glossia, which is Thorn requires Talon, Shades of Oh, I fucked it up. Damn it. Sorry. Thorn requires Talon, Shades of Eternity, Rapturous Beast Below, which is Eisenhorn's like secret little code that they use in his inquisitorial like agents. He created his own thing. So Thorn requires Talon, which is Eisenthorn. Eisenhorn requires would like to speak to Talon, which is nickname for Ravener. And then Shades of Eternity can mean chaos. Rapturous Beast Below, expect enemy resistance. They have like a quite cool little sub thing. I worked that out, by the way, for my own Eisenhorn video. I kind of broke Glossier a little bit, which is hilarious because in the books they say like, "Oh my god, he broke Glossier." It's like it's not that hard.
It's like when you're trying to like swear with your mum around, but also you're like, I don't want her to know I'm swearing, so you make it up with your friends and you have code words.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, Greg from school's a dick, and you're just like, yeah, I'm just gonna make. It's like, oh, Garg from Duel is
Garg.
Kig. Yeah, that's the code word.
Crazy.
Bruh.
For Greg.
I have
Very complicated.
This one is set during what will be, again, it's been a hot minute since I've read this book, but I do really recommend Eisenhorn books. They're very fun. Throughout the book, we discover that someone's been fucking with Eisenhorns. Like he's been killing off their little like entourage of blanks. They've been killing off his agents, other things, and they find out like he kept certain chaos artifacts as well. They knew he had chaos artifacts, and it leads to, again, spoilers, but to be fair, all lore is spoilers. This leads to a point where he discovers that the person who's messing with him has been Pontius Glor, who he believes to be long gone / dealt with, or not dead, but as in he last saw Glor when he transferred him into like a servitor robot or something, and he kept him with like a Magos, in a prison. Turns out he broke out of prison, killed the Magos most likely, and who was like his friend. And Pontius is back on the block. He's been messing with the things. But Pontius is
Bozo.
the thing is though, Pontius wasn't killing Eisenhorn. He's an antagonist who's as intelligent as Eisenhorn. He wasn't targeting Eisenhorn because he had a personal vendetta necessarily. There was something that he needed from Eisenhorn, which was the Malus Codicium, which is a chaos like tome specifically. And throughout the entirety of Hereticus, it eventually leads where he joins up with Ravener again. And Ravener, at this point, allies himself with Eldar, and Farseers, who they respect Ravener because Ravener, despite being in a hovering wheelchair, they consider him one of the good ones in terms of humans because Ravener has a respectable amount of psychic power, even though he's in Ordos Xenos, which is hilarious. He's supposed to hunt Xenos. Ravener works with Eldar because Eldar foresee him as being sort of trustworthy, and also he will, again, they play with fates, and they actually team up with the Eldar to go hunt down Pontius Glor, who they realize is going to enact this great weapon. But the big mystery comes when they are able to, is it a seance or something? Or like they perceive a certain recreation or something that happened in history where Pontius Glor, who's been put into this like new artificial like golden body, and it's like muscly and like a walking sculpture. They perceive this, they go to a planet and they're able to see what he sees. And they travel to this planet that is completely like not on the maps. It's impossible to find almost, apart from they have to use a seance to see it. I don't know if seance is the right word, but like they recreate like Pontius discovering this thing. And what's interesting about this kind of deserty, like green, hazy planet is it's described as so they arrive in, at this point, Eisenhorn has been messed up. Like his legs don't work properly. He has like his like proper device attached, like the crude thing attached to the back of his head, and he's grim. He's lost loads of his friends, have died. It's not good. And they appear in this, like they go underground in these tombs things, and they find what is, quote, a cyclopean city of glassy black rock that has been so long vanished that it's become only like a psychic phantom of itself remains. And he says he finds it fascinating, terrifying, and so few things in the universe had made him feel insignificant, which is incredibly weird to say for someone who has been in literal hive cities and hive planets. And the interesting part about this lore is that on this planet, it is said to be a planet built by demons. Like, quote, the Malachi Dissim, I think, even says, maybe, or other parts in the lore. It's been a hot minute since I read the book, but supposedly this is where a demon king's realm was, and a demon king called Yasaril, and this is where his tomb was laid. The city was built by demons, and his tomb there lays a great weapon. And I think in the exact quote is Eisenhorn, I think he says, "I could make out little of the dark gulf below, but there was something there, something the size of a great imperial hive city. I discerned a black, geometric shape that was fashioned from neither stone, nor metal, nor even bone. But it seemed all those things at once. It was repellent, dead but alive, dormant, but filled with the slumbering power of a million stars. The Baroque of the Demon King, Yasariel's chariot of unholy battle, his instrument of apocalypse, with which he had scoured the warped fortresses and habitations of his own reality in wars too dreadful to imagine." And it eventually leads up to where Eisenhorn is able to use the now rebound Cherubael, his like demon host. This is set before the Beta Bequin stories, and that Cherubael fights another demon host of Pontius, and Eisenhorn is eventually able to slay / destroy the device that keeps his soul bound to the construct that his body is in. But Eisenhorn just fucks off, leaves this world, and destroys records of it, so that no one will ever find this impossible fortress of, again, because when it's in the scene in the book, him and another character like walk in and they just see this city, and they're seeing it from like high up, and they're like, it doesn't end, and it's like the doors and other structures are of an impossible size that you cannot even imagine what once lay here, which again is a really, and is again, once, interesting enough, never revisited again. That's in that planet, this demon created planet. But I think it's a cool unsolved thing of, did demons really build this planet? Is it Blackstone? Because this is long before the concept of Blackstone / prior Nexus or anything like that, really. Or maybe this might have been the first time someone even mentioned it. It's hard to tell. Again, not perfect on the lore in this, but the idea of this city, which is it Necron? Is it Eldari? Is it Old One? Or is it neither of those things? Or is it, is it Warp? Absolute complete mystery. Who knows? But I think people might enjoy that one. Again, if you want to learn more about some of these stuff, go read the Eisenhorn trilogy, because I made a video about that as well. Go watch that, actually. That's easier. But do go read the books, because there's so many more details in that one, though. I've got 2 more as well, but is there another few donuts? I can stop there. That's a good point.
Although Andy's audio is broken.
Oh no. Oh no. Okay.
He said he's listening. He said he's listening on his phone, so I think he can hear us.
Say, I cannot hear you guys, but I think I can talk to you. So I'm listening on the phone, but we can get through some donations because I'm a few steps behind.
Yeah, sorry, kings and queens listening. Sorry.
Stealthy47, thank you for the $5. The biggest mystery in 40K is, does white girl music still exist? I sure hope it does.
Dude, last Friday night is eternal.
Give me Britney any day.
Hey, that's good too.
God.
Chris M.
Thank you.
Thank you for the 5. Can't catch the whole episode because of work, but finally caught a pod live and wanted to toss some support your way.
Well, thank you, man. Thank you
very much. Hope work goes well.
Appreciate that, man. Thank you. Colin's husband oiled up and bouncing spooky stuff for $2. Great. Now I got to get caught up on Halo.
Oh yeah, they also, by the way, the new campaign, Halo campaign evolved.
Wow.
Thanks. Fucking firing on all cylinders with that one.
Geneto's one, Eli.
Thankwall's Warp Dust Dealer. Thank you very much for the $10.
Great name.
You little mouse/rat. I got a 12-pack of that Warp Dust. That's just you can only find walking along the Black Dust transport paths in Aldorf. I'm sipping on that Beastman Brain Kurgan Shadowland Grown Dark Evil pack. Thank you.
That's a lot.
Yeah,
of
man,
info.
those were English words. Maybe.
Kaiju Blue for $4.99. The Halo reveal made me cry, so I came to watch this instead. Everyone faring well. Doing good, man. Doing good.
Tragic.
Colin is not having a day.
No, but that's part and parcel with being a Halo fan in modern day.
I don't know if yeah, perfect. So I have another one for the offerings, but this one might be one that actually the boys might know / can chip in on, which is the origins of the Tyranids. This is an interesting one. This will be some details the boys here will know, which is, again, background for this one, which is during the Horus Heresy on the world of Sotha, set during the Imperium Secundus, Guilliman, Sanguinius, Lion Empire thing. The Pharos device, which is, I think, on the planet Sotha, on the world of Sotha.
These nuts.
This was thought to be like an ancient Necron device which allowed traversal of space in an instant. It could act like a lighthouse for like a beacon similar to the Astronomicon in the warp, but could shine on other locations, which is interesting. This was eventually destroyed by Barabbas Dantiok of the Iron Warriors, a loyalist, before people will say, to prevent the Night Lords, Traitor Legion from taking it, / appearing on Terra, great thing for Horus. This destruction of this device was so great that it created a little blip, little wow signal, as they say, in the warp. And it was so strong that it caught the sight of, quote, an endless hunger in the dark. And we then, this is even before here, when Sarek, the Silent King, post-war in heaven, he had failed his people / because of he felt guilt for what he had done to his people. He would go on a self-imposed exile, but when we say self-imposed, we mean he goes with a bunch of his other guards because the man is like, well, I'm still a king, and for, quote, millions of years, he traversed the void of space until he discovered a hive mind, an entity of unending mass and malice that sought to consume everything. And interesting enough with the Imperium, though, what will be the first recorded contacts is in 771 M41, which is the planet Tyron, which would then go on to name what would be the entities we know as the Tyranids. And obviously, we know that there may be other instances, but I'll get to that in a second. For what we perceive as like the great tendrils of this hive mind, they are invading the Milky Way galaxy in the 41st millennium, and they are not invading it from this like one side. It is coming from every angle. Like some of them are coming on from the side, some of them are coming from like what would be, I guess, like the top or other parts of the Milky Way galaxy. This is supposedly coming at the Milky Way from all directions, which is, again, hard to even imagine. Obviously, if you think about the size of a galaxy, it's almost incomprehensible. Mm-hmm. And it is theorized, though, at least, that there may have been other instances of like things like earlier sightings of what would be Tyranid bioforms. So obviously the main example being that the kill team for Death Watch, they obviously came across gene stealers, which obviously gene stealers are the forerunners from the literal gene stealer / patriarchs and other invasive creatures, like leading the sort of initial hunger signals and hunger flags being like over here, the bigger the plane landing signals. And the thanks, bro. Yes, I did say they're coming from every angle, guys. Thanks. That's going into the supercut.
Yeah.
There are other examples, which is, I don't know if you guys thought this, maybe some of the animals on Catachan might be like offshoot slash. Like if Tyranids are not connected to the hive mind, they do become feral and act like normal creatures. Colin might remember this though. There's a buried part of like a massive Tyranid beast buried in one of the Kaifas Kane novels, which is when they're fighting the orcs.
Oh yeah, it's this massive underground Tyranid thing.
But I don't know if
it was a Tyranid.
Do you remember if they say in that story they thought it predated some of the earlier incursions of Tyranids?
They do say that, yeah, it seems likely that it
arrived before the official naming of Tyranids.
Yeah, like it's very possible that happened.
Fenris must be. There's like things people talk about, specifically the Kraken or other creatures or offshoots. So there's even certain things where people theorize like it may have like earlier like offshoots or like certain things happened in thousands of years even before like the main sort of hive fleets have actually arrived. My favorite detail, which is the fact that the Swarm Lord, who is just there to be beaten up by Ultramarines, apparently, his weapons, I might have to correct me here, Eli, they're said to be forged by like a metal or a crystal that's not like crystalline structure that's not possibly like it's not possible to find it within the Milky Way.
That is lore. Although how they know that, I'm not so sure.
Yeah, no one studied a.
Have you checked every planet in the Milky Way? If this thing is on it.
Yeah, that is one thing. It's like, you know, the Imperium controls 1 million worlds. That sounds very impressive, but that's like there's billions in the galaxy.
I do like that.
The lore says it comes from an extra like other galaxy, other plane, just other galaxy, I guess.
The lore says a lot of things.
This comes like the big crux part, which I don't know what you guys think. Where do you believe that the Tyranids have? Well, either the theory is like they consumed their own galaxy, like so it was like an organism that eventually evolved into a hive mind. There are other examples of hive mind structures, like things like the Crave in the 40k verse, which similarly have like a hive mind, but they had like other domineering minds in like a hive mind structure. They're like minds connected, whereas the Tyranids it is a one central nervous system. And then it has, you know, mindless creatures within it, not like thinking creatures like the Crave. I don't know if the Tyranids basically just consumed their own galaxy, or the fact that the tendrils are coming from multiple different places, that it implies like, oh, the Tyranids just consume galaxies, like galaxies, multiple. I don't know how you guys, Eli, what do you think?
I don't know. I always subscribe to the theory that they have been traveling around eating other galaxies and now they're coming to Earth. I mean, the Milky Way. But also, like, I don't know, maybe that would imply that they're like all over the place. I don't know, they keep coming in bigger forces, so they're supposed to be vanguard forces. I'm not entirely sure, because it's like, it doesn't really make a lot of sense that they just keep showing up with not enough to do the job, when if they just showed up with everything around, well, maybe they're busy doing other stuff. I wonder if GW even knows where their origins are, or if they even made origins for them.
But is there sorry, Eli, because I can't hear where you are, but I was just listening on my phone. What's your opinion on the idea that maybe the Tyranids have completely starved out all the other galaxies? They've picked it clean, and now there's only one game left. There's only one buffet left to pinch from, and that might be the Milky Way.
It's too hard to believe that, because they're all showing up at different times, and they're not showing up in a big enough amount to imply that they've eaten everything else.
Maybe not everything, but them showing up at different times does help imply they've gotten more than one, just because it's going to take different amounts of time to travel from different galaxies. Especially
then, like, if that theory is the case, then in theory, each hive fleet was consuming its own galaxy, but like each hive fleet isn't even enough to get through more than like a dozen planets in the Milky Way.
Than the single like Ultramarines.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's really, I don't know.
I like to think they've gotten a couple under their belt, but I don't believe they've gotten all of the other galaxies.
It's so complicated because GW will never let the Tyranids win in any major conflict ever.
Yeah.
They will only destroy no-named planets with no-named characters.
They are, what is that? The potential man of 40k.
Yeah.
If and when, but never will.
Yeah. It's always implied that they're the strongest threat out there, but they show up and they do scary things and then they die. And then
that's just how GW writes factions.
Yeah.
Like that's every faction that's come out since the game began.
Yeah.
The Tomb Kings were the scariest. The Necrons were the scariest. The Tyranids were the scariest. The Leagues of Votann currently, have the most bestest technology. Give it 5 minutes, they're gonna make a new Tau kit that's super Dark Age advanced.
Yeah, Tyranids are still number one in my mind. Tyranids, and then Necrons, and then everything else.
There's an
interesting offshoot. Come on.
There's an offshoot to this theory, which is did the Silent King essentially, where did he encounter these? Because he clearly foresaw the destruction of the Tyranids, but you can only foresee the destruction of the Tyranids actually consuming something. And if he was in the void of space, it's just an endless hunger. And famously, Necron technology is not exactly warp infused, shall we say. So they probably don't even necessarily notice what would be the equivalent of their the hive mind creating like a shadow in the warp. But there's an interesting offshoot to this sort of theory underneath it, which is they obviously come from another galaxy, or either they were part of the galaxy, left, and then it's come back. I assume it's not that though. It comes from another galaxy. The Tyranids, when they arrived, were not familiar with fighting chaos, or at least it creates a shadow in the warp. So the warp clearly exists in other galaxies, if there are other galaxies, or if the Tyranids killed them, whatever. But they clearly did not have to. Either other galaxies are not full of sentient life / biomass enough to create emotions that that create things like warp entities, or there's nothing that chaos can latch onto, because the hive fleets arriving later have since had to adapt to fight chaos. I don't know if anyone can pick up the specific hive fleet. Is it Kronos?
No, I don't think it's Kronos. It's not Tiamat.
Something.
Is it Tiamat, or is Tiamat the one building that big tower?
Someone in the chat might be able to correct us, but there's a specific hive fleet, I do believe, that works in tandem with another one.
Tiamat's the big tower.
Oh, what was that, Andy? Oh, I didn't get it. Did anyone get what Andy? I didn't hear it, Andy. Sorry.
I didn't.
Andy, speak.
You're gonna have to wait. We have to wait like a whole minute for it to.
I was saying, was it Hive Fleet Dagon?
Maybe.
I think Dagon was that one that showed up like during the Great Crusade.
Rose Pepe said, "I think it's Kronos. I think it's Kronos."
Okay. Yeah.
So Kronos, correct me if I'm wrong on the lore. Kronos works in tandem with either other tendrils of itself or other hive fleets, where that one is specific. Kronos is specifically designed to fight warp entities, which gives it no biomass, and therefore other planets leave biomass available for Kronos to take later. But it's interesting, like initially, when I think it's stated in 40k lore that when the Tyranids arrived into the Milky Way, they did not have Hive Fleet Kronos specialized in this way, because obviously the Tyranids can adapt. That's the thing, obviously, well known, any environment, anything, they adapt on the fly, but they didn't adapt, they didn't come in prepared to fight warp entities. So therefore, in other galaxies, there's not necessarily what would have been the opposition. I mean, they came in obviously looking like what modern Tyranids look like now. In some ways, they may have changed, but they've got like their standard form. But they obviously either they had no idea about necessarily the idea of chaos. Perhaps does the hive mind perceive chaos? Does it know?
It notices it, because I think part of Kronos' lore is that instead of fighting like hive fleets normally do if they encounter each other, other hive fleets will actually strip planets and leave it for Kronos.
That's what I was saying.
Yeah, because demons aren't made out of food; they're made out of psychic nothing. So they have to perceive it, especially because Kronos came about after the Great Rift. They in some way have to be aware of it.
But they also know enough to create a shadow in the warp effect. Because usually when there's collective of consciousness in Warhammer, it actually creates more warp than it creates a more like it's like that thing of like black holes or gravity. It creates like a divot in real space. The example of the ball inside like the sheet, and it like bends it like that. The same thing with psychic. Anything with sentience, it creates ripples. That's why Eldar create bigger ripples than humans, because they feel a lot. I guess the hive mind doesn't really feel a lot. It just feels one thing in a huge body. In
Certainly
some
felt
sense.
hate after Uriel stabbed it.
It does feel hate as well. That's interesting, because it went for the Blood Angels' homeworld, missing other things because it wanted to kill them specifically because it was stopping it eating. That was Leviathan, I think. Is it Leviathan for Siege of Baal?
Yeah, that was Leviathan.
I can't remember.
What is the lore reason that Tyranid fleets don't just get shot everywhere they go because they move they move quite slowly through the warp?
They don't
go.
Fast.
I think they make like gravitational corridors that they are still FTL, and it's real space FTL. So they don't go through the warp, because I think they've got a thing called like a narval that lets them do that.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sure. I guess. What's Warhammer? It's fine.
This is crazy stuff, but it'd be interesting that it means as like a sort of side effect is they obviously the hive mind is aware of the warp because it creates a shadow in the warp, and it knows that from previous fights / before it got to the Milky Way, you must create a shadow in the warp to prevent things from using it to communicate or other sense. But it didn't have any concept of chaos, possibly, which is an interesting theory. Maybe.
Does it create? Because I've always read it as just the shadow in the warp is just a side effect of there being like so many billions of screaming beings all on the exact same page that it's just like you can't get through like the radio static they just cause.
So you think it's a block rather than
like I don't think the shadow in the warp is on purpose. I think when them making Kronos stronger was on purpose, but as I understand it, the shadow in the warp is just kind of a thing they cause. Like it's
not like a blank, but rather like a buzzing noise.
Well, yeah, it's just because like a Tyranid hive fleet is full of billions or more of creatures on the exact same wavelength that just like drowns out anything else.
It is vulnerable to the warp as well, as we saw with the creation of the Great Rift that split the galaxy in two. It literally reeled in pain and it screamed.
Had a couple Tyranids as a snack when that happened. A couple hive fleets.
Yeah, it cut tendrils in half even at some points, which is interesting. But yeah, interesting that I don't know if we'll ever know the mystery of where they came from / what their history was. Have they killed, entire galaxies, or are they simply just a parasite from other ones?
If we get the Horus heresy of the Tyranids before any War in Heaven lore, I'm going to be deeply upset.
There's also the classic that they're running away from something even scarier than the Tyranids.
Well, that they've done away with that. That was like a one paragraph thing that I don't think was even mentioned in the OG Rogue Trader book.
It's just fan theory. That's all.
There was like one passage in something official GW. It's been a while since I read it, but there was like one small little hint. But even then, it was a maybe.
Yeah,
like it wasn't. It was a. Could they be running from something? Are they? We don't. It wasn't.
I'm still not sure if anyone at GW actually knows the answer to this question, if there is a real answer.
It was the same with what is the answer of the lost Primarchs. There isn't one, and there never has been one.
Yeah,
that I wasn't going to use that for this episode though. But I'll say before we get to the guys are good.
I do have one thing that I've always found funny as a possibility for why the Tyranids didn't, aside from the shadow and the warp, didn't really have anything for chaos. It's because the warp's a reflection of like real space, right? Someone brought it up. It's like the reason could be it's like every other galaxy is just infinitely nicer than the Milky Way in 40K, so they didn't have to worry about chaos gods because nowhere else is as much of a shithole as the Milky Way.
Well, I guess it means that the chaos gods are almost despite it being the warp, I guess is only really interested in the Milky Way. Or
Well,
perhaps
I mean, they have to be, because if you leave the galaxy, the warp becomes calm because there's no life forms, which would then imply that Korn very much has a limit on how far he can reach. Because if the warp was still a sea of mess, then he could, pluck you from outside there too. But if it calms down, that's because, well, then there can't be chaos. Because if there was chaos, it wouldn't be calm.
Unless the Tyranids ate the other universes, so therefore there's no more chaos there. Well, then I guess, well, we never know, but or maybe we will, but there doesn't seem to be. They had to learn how to fight warp entities / evolve on the fly. They didn't do it immediately. They didn't come in with like a plan, if you know what I mean, or like they knew how to do it instantly. They had to learn.
The plan was hunger. me hungry.
It obviously got annoying enough for them to specialize in killing it, which is hilarious. I think I have one kind of bigger one I'd like to finish up on. Andy, if he can hear us at this point, we can do the last few donations. Andy! Again, people in the chat and like in the comment section, please do put down some mysteries if you are interested. Colin.
Oh, great. Thankful's Warp Does dealer. Colin, if you need a new pancreas, I got the hookup with Throt. They use the strain on Gorge to keep them rolling. Just smoke this with 1 part chamomile, 1 part anabolic steroids, and you'll be flying.
Huge.
Nah,
huge news.
If it doesn't come out of a bottle or a dime bag, I'm not interested.
And Bean, thank you, Bean, for $5. Someone flipped over a really big rock, and that's where the Tyranids came from. You think so? Yes.
I want to come on, get like silly with one more thing again, GW. Just one more thing where it's like, where did this come from? I found it in a rock.
Okay, I'm gonna go to the last one here, which is, I don't know if anybody else here, maybe Andy's the only person who might have read this. This is from this hurts my soul because it's a cool concept and then it's kind of flubbed in the books, but this is from the Ahriman novels, and this is for the idea that has the mystery behind what is called the Pyrodomon. I'm not gonna lie, when I read these books,
I hate the Ahriman novels. Boo! I've just heard Ahriman. Boo!
They get progressively, like, it's good and it gets progressively worse as it goes on, but it's annoying because they have so many cool concepts in it. I just hate the way it's written specifically in these books. Our story is set, I kind of don't know when it is set. The Ahriman novels are really confusing, but this is after the Horus Heresy. Ahriman has been in his long imposed exile after the first casting of the rubric, and he takes on the sort of character called Horkos, and he sort of lives as like a shadow of himself. His psychic abilities have gone to waste. Like, he's locked them away in like his little mind palace. I'm not joking. He has a mind palace because, of course, he does. Because every memory is accessible to him. Yeah.
That makes me think there was some like some Cthulhu game that had that as like the plot keep track of device. I don't know, it was cool in a video game as an idea, but I don't know. Ahriman being able to magically visit all of his memories is a little goofy. I can do that too. It's called I don't have Alzheimer's.
But it's cool in the book because he can access every. Like, he opens like a literal door and he can.
I guess that is cool.
Recreate it perfectly.
Does he?
But guys are good.
You think there's how many awkward memories does he have to shuffle through to get to what he wants? Where it's like, all right, I need to find casting the rubric. That's Magnus in the shower casting the rubric.
Magnus is schlong by accident, caught in the side eye. To be fair, he does have a habit of deleting memories when he doesn't like them.
This is a SpongeBob episode.
He does have a thing of. He does often revisit the ones with his twin brother who ended up dying quite a lot. He speaks to him like in the memories, but then he's like, it always ends with, "I know, man, but you're a memory and you're gone." So it's like, oh damn, man. But this is set after Ahriman has kind of brought his, he takes over. He kills Aemon from the Horus Heresy, who's like Magnus's like foster father figure, whatever, became a space marine, just killed him. Takes over their group, and eventually, skipping along a lot of story parts, he will cast his second rubric of Ahriman. So he's like, I understand, I did it wrong the first time. I'm not giving up. If I ever thought about giving up on something, Ahriman never gave up, so I'm gonna keep doing something. He cast his second rubric of Ahriman, which many parts in the story, like, it gets interrupted with / altered by Magnus in some way, or like it doesn't go well. Ahriman is completely distraught, except something's changed. They find out that who was previously a rubric marine of Helio Isidorus, he's been revived. He's no longer a rubric. He has no idea where he's been. He doesn't know what's happened. He's kind of like a shadow of his former self in some way, but Ahriman's like, hope again. But of course it goes wrong, because Tzeentch is fucking with this guy. So Ahriman and his cabal, they've revived Helios Isidorus. They're like, okay, the second rubric didn't go super well. It was obviously interfered with in some sense. But it's even worse than that, because Ahriman and his cabal can no longer, obviously with Thousand Suns, like cults and their magic, they often use visions, foresights. There's a lot of themes in Ahriman's books where he essentially is like, yes, I planned this all along because I could see the future possibilities. His famous thing is, I'm willing to do anything to kill off other timelines. He's like, if I burn a world here, that creates a timeline where I get information for a new rubric, like of Ahriman. So that's why he's evil. He's like, I'm willing to do anything to like a Farseer, alter the future. And the problem is that they can no longer see the future. None of them. They have no idea why. They can no longer see the future. Again, skipping over many details in this book, they try again. The Cabals will try. Ahriman brings his lieutenants to try. They start getting attacked in some sense. Something's wrong. They start to see a burning vision of the horizon, like a horizon, and like a flame is coming forth. And there's this sort of what's described like an infection starts to take hold in different sorcerers. They start to hear the rubric marines around them. They start to like whisper to them, and they start speaking. They start going, brother, help me, I'm on fire. Like they start begging for help, and it gets like, oh, that's getting weird. Some of them start to notice that their eyes, obviously what would be like, it's just for context for people, the first rubric of Ahriman turned all the Thousand Suns normal space marines into essentially dust in their armor, like sealed in their armor. Except the armor starts to have amber glowing eyes. They start to glow amber, which is a bit weird. The Thousand Sun fleets are being like, they keep trying to move on and like try and find like a solution for this, seek more law to undo whatever's happening. They keep getting attacked by the warp or something in the warp, not demons, something even worse. They can't describe what it is. Some of the marines, sorcerers, are just turning to dust, like on the floor, dust. Some of the rubric marines, some of them are becoming rubric marines. They just turn into like what is previously the first rubric of Ahriman, which is obviously not good. They make weird deals with demons and other things to find out what's going on. And they finally, something has given birth to the name or whatever's happening, and it's called the Pyrodomon. And they discover that this Pyrodomon it's not a demon, but it has a will. And they don't, again, this is completely perplexing because they don't understand. Basically, the rubric of Ahriman, the ritual has created something. And they basically end up discovering that it's originating from Helio Isidorus, which is the rubric marine guy who was brought back to life again. Like what Yvraine did, where she undid the curse of the rubric. But the rubric of Ahriman, the second one, did it wrong, or something was really wrong with it. And Helios begins to like corrupt other marine. They start attacking Thousand Suns fleets. They attack one. What they do is the rubric marines almost act like more sentient, but the sorcerers are trying to run away from them because they're terrified, because in all these their brother's eyes are like these amber glowing fire, and it's this, Helios speaks to them being like, you will be joined with us, you will become one of us, and it declares it will unify them in this perfect undeath, unlife like harmony. And it's described like an infection. It is not it could be a warp entity, possibly, or it's in some way its own thing. It is warp-like power, but it is, again, no demon. We're not sure. We see weird parts in the story where there's like a dimension of the rubric. So like there's like the soldiers all lined up, and it's like really strange. And if you stay in that place, that's what like led to the infection. So possibly the second rubric of Ahriman created a dimension of the power of what it was to be a rubric. And again, like dust-like statues, it leads to the most annoying part of what is the 5th book, where Ahriman is fighting against another Necron overlord who they're seeking this device where its power is that it doesn't send people back in time. You can send your memory back in time. So you can send your mind back in time in yourself. And both the Necron Lord and Ahriman are fighting against each other to seize it. The Necron Lord does eventually succumb to the Flayer virus, like a random side note in the book, was interesting. And then there are like demons that hunt this thing as well. It gets funky because essentially the cabal of like Ahriman and all their 1,000 sons, they are dying because they're being overtaken by this like corruption / like the amber glowing rubrics are like they're taking other soldiers, and they're like, like, look into my eyes, brother, and we will unite you in perfect harmony. And it's really creepy. Ahriman is eventually able to he retreats into his own mind and becomes like his alter ego, which was Horkos, like the weird other thing he was before, to protect his own mind from the invasion. And it's really convoluted. I'm not doing it perfectly, but he's able to get into this device, Ahriman, and he debates for a second, do I send my mind back to the Horus Heresy? Which is interesting, but he chooses not to in the end, which I really hate that John French put in there, because obviously he would do that. Obviously he would do that. But because then he'd be like, Magnus, you dick, because he hates Magnus, which is utterly justified. He's able to send his mind back to after the second rubric of Ahriman, and he utterly obliterates Helios's soul, because whatever happened to Helios, it was the creation. I'm of the opinion. I'll share in a second, but essentially he obliterates Helios's soul, and he makes it so that whatever thing created this doesn't spread throughout his legion. But this thing has been born, this Pyrodomon, and it's now going to always exist as a warp entity. And obviously it's very much a danger for the future of the 1,000 Sons. I don't know if you guys will be of the opinion, is this Tzeentch basically just being like, yeah. He might be.
He seems to get trolled by Tzeentch quite a lot, so.
He also doesn't seem to need Tzeentch to step in for him to ruin his own life, though.
Yeah.
He's I don't know. I think Tzeentch has been doing a perfectly fine job of just giving Ahriman a shovel and letting him dig the hole all by himself.
I think, yeah, because particularly in this, he's kind of utterly powerless to fight it, and he has to rely on this device to essentially undo his own work. And he basically kills the only Marine he's ever managed to bring back from the rubric of Ahriman, which obviously and then he has to go in his own mind palace, and he literally burns the memory of Helio Isidorus so that he can never be tempted / ever think about to doing something similar like that again. But he's going to try again because he's Ahriman. It's quite funny because when he goes back in time, then in some sense, which again it erases the 4th and 5th book, which I find really annoying. But he's gone back in time, and all the 1,000 Sons are like, oh man, he's failed the second rubric, and he just waltzes out the room being like, come on guys, let's try again. And they're like, oh, okay, they don't understand. They're like, he's gonna be, they're like, oh, he's gonna be so upset. He's gonna be like, this is disastrous. I failed again, and we're all gonna give up now. But he's like, come on guys, he's like no chip on his shoulder. He's all good because he doesn't understand like he's failed because he erases his own memory about his own failure. So yeah, amazingly weird, but completely like, where is this? Like, there's like a sub realm of like what is the rubric of Ahriman? Like, there's like a hall of dust in some sense for all like the dead. Other thing, like I think there's like weird details in that. I might be misremembering some things, but it is like a really. I don't think it's as good as some of the other ones on this list, but it's a really interesting one that most people probably don't know because no one else has tortured themselves to get far enough into the Ahriman books for this one. But it's
I feel
interesting
thing. I feel like we're running out of the 1,000 Suns. It's probably more like the 376 Suns at this point.
Well, they do recruit. To be fair, they do recruit.
They do every now and again.
Like Ahriman's books, one of his right-hand men is Asterius, I think his name is. He's from a Space Marine chapter that was declared heretical by the Inquisition, and he ends up joining the Thousand Suns warband. So they're like, and even in Ahriman's novel, they show you like the warband, loads of sorcerers or self-seeking or other creatures eventually just join the Cabal. Like a lot of the Thousand Suns are like the cool guys.
More Xandors. That is absolutely what they tell themselves. No,
as in like they're the ones where they're clearly more powerful than everyone else. Yeah. So they like they hold to their own. But then like
what is this immense cope?
No, as in like literally in the books, like because of the first rubric of Ahriman, they're all empowered anyway. But they're clearly much more skilled than what is like a 41st millennium, renegade librarian in some sense.
You just mean like specifically in psyker terms.
Yeah, as in like they don't think they're cooler than them, as in they literally are like they obviously are more powerful than them, and so therefore they are used as like underlings. There's a few of like the war bands, like some like had like silvery armor, and they're like a bit more ravenous and idiotic. And the other, one of the Ignis, maybe one of the scenes is like, yeah, you're an idiot or something. I can't remember the exact scene. It's been a hot minute since I read it, but they are very much, other renegades are perceived on a lower tier compared to the other. Ahriman wants true Thousand Suns on his group. I think that though is like kind of my last, as in for this episode of Mysteries, that's the last kind of one of, where are they going with that? Will they use it again? How the hell did that even come about? I'll ask particularly for the boys here. Which ones do you think are, I guess, more interesting to you, or what would be more solvable? Just going through, it's like Annuncia, the City of Dust, the Artifact, which was the Kappa Mu, and the world of Promedy for the Eisenhorn one, like the oily black city, or the Tyranids, or the Promedy one. I don't know if you had any particular thoughts, or again in the chat as well, if you had any interesting insights to add.
City of Dust and the Dark King are the coolest, methinks. It seems like those have gotten the most work put into them. Yeah,
particularly the end and the death one is quite nice. Like what is like the end of Horus Heresy lore is then very much intrinsically tied into what is like a big ongoing 40k plot line, and it's not just like, okay, and then that happened and then we forget about it. I think I do like the idea of the Dark King thing should be left alone for a while, because that is like quite cool Horus Heresy, Siege of Terror stuff. But City of Dust, though, I do love me some Hasta. Anything like that, though. Again, my channel name, the Amber King, obviously is a literal offshoot from that story. There's many different short stories of the King in Yellow, but I don't know where we'll go with that. Do you think? This is the big question, though. Do you think some mysteries in 40k should never be solved?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Absolutely.
But which do you think they would ever? Would you prefer they never give any more lore about the missing Primarchs?
I mean, I could care less about them, to be honest. Yeah,
I think they should never touch the lost Primarchs.
Yep. They're there so that you can make your own fan chat.
That was their point. They were like inspired by like Roman legions. So you've got, they're the Teteberg destroyed legions. GW didn't consider, and I don't blame them for it, because this was early 40k. They didn't consider the implications of destroying 2 of the OGs and saying they were worse than the heresy. Like they just didn't consider how like what that would mean. And so now anyone who tries to make their own homebrew like Primarch and Lost Legion is obviously going to be laughed out of the game store, but that was their point. It's to leave stuff open for homebrew. Answering that mystery not only ruins the fun of talking about the mystery, but it would be yet another kick in the face to people who like to make their own stories up and stuff for fun like that. GW, I think, has delivered plenty of those enough already with the 70 trillion heresy books.
The frickin' Farsight mystery should have never been touched. It should have been left out forever. And Phil Kelly completely butchered it. The whole thing where is, why did Farsight really leave the Tau? We don't know. But actually, it's just chaos is real and the Ethereals didn't tell us about it. So I'm going to make my own faction now. Stupid.
Something that I always thought going in was quite nice and fun in 40K was everything like from the past was myth and legend, and we have the barest of ideas. And the more they keep explaining these mysteries and ideas, 40K keeps losing so much mystique it once had.
There's not so much knowledge that was forgotten in the last 10,000 years. It turns out we actually have new stuff all the time. It turns out and I would just please stop explaining things, please. I like the mystery.
Do you have any particular mysteries you can think of that are for you two more? Please don't touch that one with the 10-foot barge pole or something.
Lost Primarchs.
It's too late now.
Lost Primarchs. I guess it was the Terminus Decree, but I'm really not that passionate about that one, so that's made me go, eh.
I think, not to get into a topic of it, but creation of Custodes, please leave that always to be a mystery. I don't know how you can explain that. Not to go to that topic any further, because that's a bloody minefield.
Mystery? I thought they would just... I guess the specifics of it,
not like how a space marine is made.
It's not nearly that detailed.
No, I can think of other ones, which is
put magical emperor juice in you.
Yeah, his cum, literally like us.
Lorecrimes merch,
more times merch, guys. Do check that out. There's I saved it for another episode if we ever do another episode of mysteries, which is the Rangdan genocides.
That would be one. I don't know.
I don't know if I would mind.
I waver back and forth. It's cool. I only want an unknown because some of those little tidbits that I'm fine with them dropping about the Lost Primarchs involve that. So if you explain the Rangdan, well, you're going to explain those kind of inherently, and I really don't want them to do that. But at the same time, the Rangdan were also like the Great Crusades version of the Punic Wars. And God, that sounds really interesting to learn about. Like this was the Carthage to the Imperium. Because there's a decent amount of connections where you can make that comparison. So I'm really interested in that. But then the Lost Primarchs are there. And like, I don't want to learn about you. I want to know nothing about you beyond like Fulgrim every now and again saying the second was a boring asshole. Stop it at that.
There's also like the Flare virus and the Destroyer virus. I don't really know how I felt about them making like the Ghost Wind and stuff in Twice Dead King. I don't know if that was really what we needed, but it was something, I guess.
Are there any big like Eldar mysteries, Eli?
Illic Nightspear knows like the knowledge of the universe and read some wacky book and knows something that none of us do, and his entire life is dependent on the survival of the Eldar species.
Yeah. Don't tell me what's in Kegarek's book. I don't want to know.
How to get into the Black Library.
Oh, well, I mean...
Well, no, where the Black Library is.
Follow Araman and do the opposite of what he does.
Yeah. The Tau and the Ethereals are also a mystery, like the rapid evolution or advancement, whatever, of the Tau. And the whole Ethereals arriving, are they actually part of the original Tau species? Or are they aliens? Or did they make the Tau? Because all you saw was flashing lights, and then the Ethereals unified the Tau in one night. That's what the Farsight mystery was supposed to be about. Some people were saying wacky things like the Eldar made the Tau and whatever. I'd rather we have wacky fan theories than freaking Phil Kelly Farsight book.
Do you have a theory about the Tau Ethereals, Eli?
I don't know. I haven't really thought about it that much. I think they're cool and they deserve their place of authority, and I like them.
Stop thinking. Leave it at that.
I think the mind control thing is funny, but I think the only proper source for that was a single xenobiologist book, and even in that book, that's just their best guess for why the Tau listen to the ethereals, because they cannot understand the idea of someone following an authority figure willingly. Because the Imperium sucks so much.
The Far Side books don't even explain it. They just say, "Oh, Almva has mind control, and he makes you kill yourself." So stupid.
You know, that's kind of funny. Does the lightning come with it?
I think one I think of is Blackstone fortresses, because there's some hints, isn't there, Colin, to Blackstone fortresses?
I don't know. Those aren't like.
They're not Eldar though, but they think they are sometimes.
I mean, those aren't a big enough. I mean, I guess saying that they did blow up Cadia, but like, I don't know. Blackstone fortresses, like, it's just a fancy piece of tech. Like, wouldn't mind if that's revealed, because it's not. Because even if they do reveal exactly where it came from, no one's gonna be able to make it anymore. Be it an old one's weapon, well, they're gone, or an ancient Eldar weapon, well, they don't use their super weapons anymore. And they can't make most of them anyways, so it doesn't really. Well, also, if that was revealed, it'd be like, eh.
Supposedly, Blackstone fortresses, because obviously they're considered like great looting grounds, there are Xenos species that are long dead in the universe, but like they still have like roaming bands inside.
Yeah, they're just hanging out in there,
which is weird.
I mean, that'd be cool. More stuff like that I would honestly like to see explored. I would like more minor Xenos.
Dutch says, also just simply, where did the Emperor come from, or his actual origin? I hope GW never answer that. Yeah, like the whole.
That would be nice.
Be it the shaman thing or whatever.
Yeah, like
they've already revealed too much Emperor lore for my liking, personally.
And then they would go back on it, and then they would go back on it, and they would go back on it, and Jesus Christ, 50 different people wrote this series.
I liked it when all the Emperor lore was convoluted and a bunch of people said random things that didn't connect, and so there was no real answer, and it was just people saying stuff. Dude, there's too much backstory for him now.
Go back to OG first edition Rogue Trader lore. Where'd the Emperor come from? Who knows? Do we remember what he did? Only he does, and that's a maybe.
Yeah.
This is gonna get into that weird place. Like there used to be, I said back in the day, like again, like early whatever, like 2000s. People were quite upset that they were actually going to explore the Horus Heresy.
I was just going to say, might be a controversial opinion. I don't think it'd be that big of a deal if the Horus Heresy was never explored and was
I don't blame them for that opinion, because it was the time of legend, and when you explain the legend, you can only go down. You may not go down a lot. There is good heresy stuff, but you can only go down. It's the same reason, like the moment you show the monster in a horror movie, it's infinitely less scary, because anything you come up with in your mind is going to be infinitely better than what's delivered 99 out of 100 times.
But I wonder then if it's like, okay, Dutch says, I remember when Lehman Russ was
Lehman Russ, I will tell you, I was looking at it. I was reading for a video, OG Rogue Trader. You can find it as a free PDF online. Lehman Russ was just a Space Marine commander, not a chapter master, a commander who was instrumental in founding the Space Wolves.
God, that's some bold stuff. I don't know, because it's one of those things where if there's no Horus Heresy lore, I don't know. It is. I always thought it would end up basically, here's another Space Marine book set in the 41st millennium, and that's it, guys.
Okay, here's another Space Marine book set in the 30th millennium.
As in, I don't know. It's a new. No, but it's a new dimension to it. And
Warhammer's changed so much, because the old point was it's a playground for all the stories and everything. Don't move past. The clock was always a minute to midnight.
Yeah, now
don't move past it.
Things are moving, and it's weird, man.
It's a different vibe. I understand why people like it, and it is cool to see a moving storyline. But the point of it was you had 10,000 years of history to make up your own stories with and have fun with your friends. And authors also. I know most of the books were in the 41st millennium, but authors could go back in time to whenever. They just didn't.
Where would you like to see more? Would you want War in Heaven, don't you? Or do you don't
even
want
other than War in Heaven, I don't want nearly as much War in Heaven as we have Horus Heresy. Do not explain it nearly as much.
I don't think
one
they
or
would.
two books, I'd be. Well, I know they wouldn't. It's Xenos. 1 or 2 books would be cool. That's it. But I would. There's even so much in just the Imperium era. There's some called the War of the Lost Primarch. What do we know about it? Nothing. Was an actual Primarch involved or false Primarch? Was the real one? No, probably not from the name.
But then isn't knowing about it ruining the mystery of it?
Yeah, but we don't need to explain the whole thing. Just give us more detail than it existed. It's like there are 10,000 years, almost as long as we've been farming in real life, worth of things to explore and talk about. Not explain, just look at it a bit. There's something called the Nightmare Engines of the Pale Wasting. That sounds like the coolest shit ever. What do we have about it? There's some Marine chapters. Beat it. Thanks. That's it. That's all we get.
Yeah, and I mean, even stuff like the like Gold Van Dyer and the creation of the sisters and stuff. That's just Codex lore, isn't it? They don't actually have any books. There's no novels of that specific time period. It's just random little blurbs, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Which is really weird. You would think that there'd be novels about stuff like that.
In a weird sense, would it be really weird if I was like if I had to get rid of one? I don't know if I honestly don't know if I would choose between the Heresy or 40k. Was I really put down to it because I'm like, if I was someone who was like I didn't know anything about Warhammer,
kill this guy.
Say I don't know anything about Warhammer, and I wanted to read a novel series. There's one that's much more cohesive in a sense, and I know what I'm getting, and I would like it.
That's because
the 40k has
a series.
No, like the 40k novels is the weird part. Like that's like the whole point is like that's the Heresy is the context to the flavor that is 40k. I honestly don't know if I could choose between the two if I had to shoot. I don't know if it's
that's
easy.
Crazy.
I can easily.
It's so much fun.
I didn't want all this context.
Bro loves Space Marines. Bro loves Space Marines.
It's Warhammer. What do you think?
Gosh, man.
It's very hard. It really
Warhammer.
is like saying you like Star Wars, but you hate Sith and Jedi. It would be like saying that,
Bruh.
which is
No,
fair.
not.
Which is fair.
It's not like saying that.
Not like that.
You're like,
I can prove it's not like saying that because I've read Rogue Trader.
It's like taking one part of Star Wars where it's just Jedi and Sith fighting and saying I'd rather have that than the rest of Star Wars.
That's closer to saying like you don't like the Old Republic, so you hate Luke Skywalker because there's too many Jedi and Sith, so therefore you hate. But I don't hate Space Marines. I hate when they get 80 books.
Andy's not here to defend Hal. Poor guy.
Andy would please. Andy, I need to.
Yeah, let's all get a minute of silence so Andy.
Because I know I'm not in the minority. Everyone likes Space Marines.
You are absolutely in the minority.
No way.
In this podcast,
no way. The majority of people would get rid of 40k for just 30k. There's no way.
No, I don't know. I don't think I could choose between the two. They're even for me. I like both equally.
I think you're an outlier. I think that's a very rare opinion.
Well, to be fair,
I think it's a rare opinion, and I think that's a problem.
I'm allowed.
I like Space
both.
Marines.
Andy, would you get rid of 40k so that you could have only 30k if you had to choose one?
It's really tough though.
Give him a minute. We gotta give him a minute. We gotta give him a minute.
I don't know how this is hard.
I would not pick one or the other. We need both.
Oh my!
You know what?
goodness.
It's a safe answer, but that's
goodness.
fine.
It would honestly be
It's wrong, but it's fine.
I don't. It's difficult because we're speaking to two guys here who are in the minority in the sense that they like Xenos lore more than the Space Marine stuff.
But we have Space Marines in 40k too.
You can easily have. Them
I
both.
know it, but as in I'm saying I'm obviously a
30K
heresy enjoyer.
40k was made to make 40k better. 40k was not made to make 30k better.
Hey man, listen, as someone who's particularly like we're speaking about something, this is like speaking about a cinema. It's like speaking about Lord of the Rings. Colin's not seen the movies.
I have. I've only not seen the last one now.
Oh, you've been okay. That's crazy. Colin's reading that. But as in, I've read the Horus Heresy, so therefore I'm speaking in the sense of as someone who's read it, I clearly like it. I clearly like a 50 book series that I've read. I like the 40k novels, but again, I'm talking about as a collection of a whole. I'm much more in the sense of a cohesive. Like, there's people who play tabletop. Some people clearly like Horror's Heresy playing tabletop more than they like 40k playing tabletop. In a sense, I like Horror's Heresy lore ever so slightly more because, first of all, I do like Xenos stuff, but it's obviously I like space. Again, I just like the Horror's Heresy lore because it's so much more of a cohesive story that I've enjoyed throughout an entire series. Like, particularly for me, I've gotten to the end and the death, and like you can imagine the payoff for me. Thanks.
Kill Dutch.
Thanks, Dutch.
Kill Dutch with bricks.
No, but you guys can see it in the sense of, like, for me, like, that's like a 60 whatever book series. That's like, for me, from Horus Rising to the End and the Death Volume 3, like, that's an incredible thing I went through. 40k it's very much like I like bits of it, and there's lots of bit which is like, no offense, there's a few shitters in there. In fact, there's quite a few shitters in there. There's a few shitters in the Horus Heresy as well. I'm not going to lie.
Because 40k is a setting and Horus Heresy is one story.
Yeah,
It's one
that's
event.
which is why I like 40k more. I like it more when it's a setting and there's so much, more out there, and you get little glimpses of it.
Yeah, again, I obviously very much love. I
30K is
literally work
awesome,
around
right?
them. Yeah,
So,
I do like both.
I've just accepted I'm permanently in the minority of Warhammer in everything.
Maybe again, like, to be fair, the most played factions recently are like World Eaters and other things. Like, and then Space Marines was for the first few times not the most played faction, isn't it? Oh, that's
the most played faction is World Leaders. Space Marines are the most.
I know what you mean.
Codex,
but
like normal Imperial loyalist Space
I know
Marines.
what you mean, but
That's
like,
so unbelievable, man.
it's no one's playing World Eaters for the demon allies.
But like, again, I'm not gonna. You can't knock again. How many Horus Heresy books have you guys read?
A grand total of
Like
1 in
20,
full, and I'd like to keep
20,
it
and
that
it
way.
feels like I barely read any. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
as in, again, it's the same thing. Like, if you read, one day if you end up reading the collective of it, you will look, perhaps like me, you'll look back at the whole thing of it and be like,
Yeah.
I enjoy that package.
That's the case with any
more.
good story, though. Like, it's not just Horus
I'm never
Heresy.
saying, like, all jokes aside, I don't think it's like an inherently, like, it sucks as a series. I don't think like
It's
it's poorly written, like, overall. Obviously, like you said, there's some stinkers, like the, what is it, Battle of the Abyss. I don't think I've heard a single human being say nice words about that book, other than the funny World Eater that lives in the walls. I think other than that guy, no one has said anything nice about that book.
Anything Nick Kime has touched.
Yeah.
But he's touched a lot of 40k books as well. So
it's just like, just conceptually, I don't like what the heresy is about on multiple different levels. It would be like, it's like, if someone doesn't like fish, it doesn't matter if they get the finest of lobster and salmon meals. They don't like fish.
Yeah, I mean, that makes, again, we're not like trying to divide up people, but as in, if I had to have a gun to my head and choose, though, it would only eke out like 30k would eke out just before, because I've genuinely invested more, and I've read obviously a lot of the Warhammer books, but I've read the Heresy as a collective, and that as a collective, if I put against the collective of 40k, I'm like, just a tiniest smidge on that. Again, thing is with 40k, I just pick and choose elements I like, whereas the Heresy I enjoy as the whole, in some sense, despite the stinkers.
There are many people in chat that I can't tell whose side they're on.
Someone was saying sunk cost fallacy.
All right, see that one. I know
that's
who
all Warhammer.
I know who that one is pointed at, and yeah, unfortunately, that's just everyone in Warhammer.
It is all we are grown men talking about
Collins,
plastic
what
toys.
and where. I don't know where that's going. Cool.
Yeah. Andy, I think we might be the last of the donations.
There's someone. Where's the other one? Where someone just said, this is worse than One Piece shills. I don't know who you're talking about, sir.
I assume Hal.
We haven't done the.
Yes, you are.
we haven't done the question of the week.
Oh,
So what I have an idea for is if I read out the donos, then I pass it on to you guys.
Everyone hold,
and then
I'm
we can
pulling
do
it
the
up.
question of the week. Can you give me a thumbs up if you think that sounds like a good idea so I can see? Cool. So I'll go through the donos quickly, and then someone can take over from me with the question of the week. I don't know if someone's checked the last question of the week, but then I think that way that might be a good way of doing this, because right now I am on delay, and also I've been told by a source who the lost Primarchs are according to an insider, so now I know.
Well,
Really?
If that's true, then I wish that insider bricks to brain.
I've done a lot of waffling.
First donation. We have Persuasive Wink for 10. Colin, don't let Hal tell you not to run Avatar of Cain. An AOS list with 14 avatars of Cain went 4-1 in a GT. Wow.
Disgusting.
10 million more murder Cain
Warp
tries.
Dust Dealer for 2. What's the over-under on Fulgrim snorting a rubric?
100% he did that.
Surely at least once.
Give it a bash.
Surely at least once, out of curiosity.
Xenon Hello. I'd love to see more shiz set in the Ghoul Stars.
So much unexplored potential.
I was thinking about that too.
Good.
Yeah.
And the freaking Bone Kingdom. Bone Kingdom.
Glad to see Colin made his bed.
I'm an airman. I don't care.
I like how I'm also like lip reading to see if like can I so I don't over talk as best I can.
Oh dear.
Nate J for 5. What the Emperor was doing during the Dark Age of Tech and why? A full book on the wall with Men of Iron. Why Emperor didn't keep a single SCC. Also, this is backtracking slightly. The one thing I don't want to ever be revealed is what the hell's up with the Watchers in the Dark. I love them. They're little gooby fellas.
That's true. Like they should be funny little Jawas that move through time. Or whatever they do.
Tyberos Girth maxing at Awake. For 5, I want 2 or 3 Thunder Warriors books to entice us more on Uni Wars and Space Police brutality. Flay Hal's balls for his takes.
I wouldn't mind more Unification War lore, honestly.
Where's the last question
Wayne for 2. 30k vehicle models are better than the 40k ones.
Sure.
I don't like the grav tanks that the Space Marines have. I've got to be honest. I think they're a bit too.
Primaris are bad.
Primaris are poo poo.
Most 40k vehicles are pretty similar.
It's like that thing, the inverse with Episode 9, where it's like, why are the stormtroopers on like treaded bikes, not floaty ones? When we have the tech. It's that kind of inconsistency.
They fly now.
Adam Apple. For 2, the mystery of Colin's extreme sexiness.
Hey, that's not mysterious. That shit.
Hey, wait.
Shout out to the man who said I had the metrosexual beard.
Wow, Colin.
Don't know what to do with that one.
And the last one, Raw 666 for 10. One mystery I want to remain a myth for now is the events of War in Heaven. With the way GW is writing, I worry they ruin the settings and somehow make it a war against chaos instead of
that sounds about right.
They would track. I won't mind War in Heaven staying in
my isolation chamber.
I just like one or two books. Over to you guys. No,
it would be nice to have. It would be nice to have a book with like a ton of history on it, even if it's not the POV.
Yeah, it doesn't need to be just like a codex version.
Had some of that stuff in it, but there's at least a little bit of info on it. To be fair,
there's
overall, but maybe it's just a little bit extra. I would really like them to do things with the other Catan that are still in the galaxy, the shards and stuff, and
like the
also the full Catan that is still in the galaxy. So like,
oh yeah, the outsider, right? It was just outside.
Yeah.
He's hanging out.
We got another dono. Andy, thank you. Raw 66, $10. Thank you very much. Joke, the one mystery I want answer right now is if the next new companion in the next Rogue Trader game is going to be a Necron. That'd be unbelievable coming from a Necron fan. I would, as a Necron, I would never work with a human. I would never work with a human.
Nah, they can do it right. Do it like, he's not working for them. He's there with his underlings.
It would have to be a wacky noble of some sort or a Triarch Praetorian.
I think it would be so unbelievably fun. Oops, fuck. Who's Necron Dementia Man? I'm forgetting.
Or Trazen.
No, not Trazen.
Xandric?
Yeah, dude, that'd be funny.
Yeah. He would work with someone.
Like, dude, I think that would be so fucking funny if he was part of your party.
Sounds like necrocy. Oh god. I think there's one
more like a Cryptek working with an AdMech.
Yeah.
So that would be interesting. There could certainly be like an alliance of desperation or something. It could happen.
You could do anything. It's a whole galaxy. There is surely one Necron out there willing to hang around the infinite money device that is a rogue trader.
Eli or Colin, did you have any of the previous question of the week?
That's from the Navy one, right? We're a bit behind.
Yeah.
I thought so.
Yeah.
I do have some, yes. It's what Navy would you like to be in? Warhammer or not. We've got Donkey Man USA first up. Hashtag in the Navy. The UNSC Navy, solely because every UNSC ship has a banger of a name. Pillar of Autumn, 2 for flinching, Hazard Pay, they all go hard. The ship names in Halo, someone was cooking with straight fire.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good. I like that one. Swift Paints, solid name. I'd be a Norn Queen leading the Hive Fleet, exploring new alien worlds, using their organisms to create new and terrifying bioforms, slowly spreading my influence and consuming biosphere after biosphere. The galactic equivalent of Plants vs. Zombies. I think that.
Go off, Queen.
I think that's really funny. I'd be a Norton Queen. I was ready for that one.
Yes, Queen. Wow.
I'll get 2 more. Dusan Madzaravik. I would like to be a Necron admiral during the War in Heaven, so I can personally inflict as much death and destruction on the space elves as possible.
Space.
You know what?
The old ones.
That's fine. There are, there's one faction allowed to have a real rivalry with the Eldar. It's the Necrons, 2 big boys of the galaxy.
Yeah, when are you two starting your Xenos podcast channel, by the way? When is this happening?
After give it a few more Horus Heresy rants.
All three episodes.
Give it 10, maybe 20 more Eldar books, and we can make something happen.
And only 10 more Necron books needed.
And this book sucked. And this book sucked too. And this book sucked a little bit less.
Bad.
Thanks for coming.
And then last but not least, DJ Beast. Not many people will agree, but I would want to be an admiral in One Piece. First of all, I have a bad enough moral character that I would fit right in. Next, I will have a bunch of people power scaling me to infinity with the glaze while I'm just some jobber. Last reason, I would goon so much the seas would become white. Colin will understand this.
That's crazy.
That's crazy. Hashtag the seaman, the shit.
No, it was hashtag in the Navy. Also, shout out to Taz BSX who just said Manchester mention. I love that shop. Manchester mentioned. I yearn for the day the inhabitants of Manchester learn to speak English.
I'm going to Manchester tomorrow, actually.
They speak Lovecraft there. You'll fit right in, Hal.
Yeah, I say some weird things. For the next question of the week, guys, we have one that's pretty on theme for what will be our Halloween episode, which is what genuinely terrifies you in Warhammer? Is under hashtag fear. What generally obviously terrifies Eli is someone who would choose heresy over 40k if it had gun to their head, apparently.
Yeah.
There's no
God forbid he likes that.
No words terrify me more than Gav Thorpe Eldar story. You're one-winged angel playing right there.
I get terrified of I can't remember where I read it from. It's the guy in one of the Huron Blackheart, maybe it's a short story or something, where one of the guys I think gets put behind his throne and he gets put into this like device which is like a life support and he can't move. And
isn't that Abaddon who did that?
No, that's the Epidemius, I think.
Funny.
That's when he attaches psychics. This is one where just the guy's just put behind Huron's throne, I think, and he's put into a life support like tube down his neck. He can't move, and he's just stuck there. He'll never die because he's a space marine. Like he basically age slowly. He's on life support. He can breathe. He won't need to eat. He's just stuck there with his own mind in the darkness, which is, if anyone can imagine that, he can't hear, he can't speak, he can't smell anything. It's just the void of nothing, and he has his own madness. So that's terrifying. One of the probably worst fates, other than whatever Epidemius. I think it was Epidemius, the Grey Knight. He did that
like
too.
That. A name like that.
I think it is one of the Grey Knight Grandmasters and their founders. Yeah, that's bad, that one as well. Colin?
The Poxwalkers would probably be my pick because it's it's zombie apocalypse, but you also have locked-in syndrome in your own body while it goes to murder people.
Is it like
that just sounds awful on every level.
It's like 28 years later, like, is it gonna get cock girl? You know,
it's like the 28 the later series, but you're fully conscious while your body is beating your friends to death.
Jeez,
like that's just horrific.
Mandrakes are scary. I think mandrakes are scary, and they're another cool mystery.
The Dreadnought too would probably, let's be honest, becoming a Dreadnought would be awful.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no, thank you. Just put me down. I know only in death does duty end, but can we expedite that?
Mm-hmm.
Where's it from? With like the robotic voice, the one's like, "I feel cold." Who says that? Is that from Doctor Who maybe or something like that? I can't remember. It's like a Dalek or something.
Someone made like a fan comic where an elder Wraith Lord and a Dreadnought are talking to each other, and they're both just kind of miserable, which is a fun fan comic, but sad fun.
Well, I hope everyone enjoyed these mysteries. We've got a Halloween episode next week on more scary stuff, but this one's more of a unsolved mysteries episode. Hope everyone enjoyed the selection. I didn't choose all the obvious ones, so it'll be another one. So if you want to do, we'll do rank. I saved Rangdan, I saved Lost Primarchs, all that's good stuff. But I hope I've chosen some topics I think maybe not everyone would know about, and some ones that are quite fun. Hopefully everyone enjoyed that episode. So the little rant at the end. We
rage.
We do clearly, as again, me and Andy literally started a podcast channel called Lodgecast, reading every single Horus Heresy book, so you know exactly how I feel about it. So hopefully everyone enjoyed that, and then we'll see you guys very, very soon on next week's episode. Hope you'll enjoy, and do check out the cum shirt
merch.
It's the cum shirt.
Bricky merch.
It is the cum shirt. Get your cum shirts. Cum shirts.
Mpreg.
Okay.
Bye, guys.